But the Leviathan was never defeated because it was never truly an enemy that could be fought. Whether born from ancient legend or the terrifying power of rogue waves and Atlantic storms, it claimed ships without warning and left no battlefield behind. Pirate captains could outwit rival crews and escape the Royal Navy, but none could command the sea itself. That is why the legend of the Leviathan survived long after the Golden Age of Piracy ended, a timeless reminder that the ocean was always the greatest power of all. Trace your finger along the map from the Azores toward the Caribbean and picture the year 1717 as the smell of rotting oak, boiling pine tar, damp hemp rigging, stale bilge water, sulfur, and cold Atlantic spray drifted beneath black storm clouds while snapping canvas echoed across an endless gray sea. Long before sailors spoke of the Leviathan in terrified whispers, they had already learned that the ocean possessed dangers no cannon could defeat. Some swore it was a creature so enormous that entire ships disappeared beneath its shadow before a single wave struck the hull. Others believed the Leviathan was not a beast at all, but a name given to the sea itself whenever impossible storms swallowed fleets without leaving so much as a floating spar. Pirate crews sailing vessels between 80 and 300 tons respected these stories because experience had taught them that the Atlantic regularly accomplished what no navy could. Their ships depended upon massive white oak futtocks secured with hand-forged iron spikes nearly 12 inches long, pronounced tumblehomes strengthening the hull against heavy seas, and carefully driven oakums sealed beneath boiling pine tar during repeated careening. Yet even these engineering masterpieces groaned under the immense pressure created by towering swells. Every mast strained against tarred hemp shrouds nearly an inch thick, while chain plates and deadies absorbed enormous loads as the vessel climbed mountains of water before plunging into deep valleys between waves. Standing upon such a deck, surrounded by darkness broken only by lightning, it became easy to believe that something unimaginably vast moved beneath the surface. Whether beast or legend, the Leviathan became the ultimate symbol of every terror sailors could neither fight nor escape. I have heard old quartermasters swear that they watched the sea itself rise beneath a moonless sky without any warning from the wind. The lookout would first report an unnatural calm as every wave flattened into black glass, followed by silence so complete that even the blocks hanging from the yards stopped creaking. Then the ship's bow would lift as though resting upon the back of something alive. Experienced helmsmen immediately ordered every sail reduced because a vessel of 120 tons with a keel nearly 80 feet long could easily lose her masts if caught broadside by a sudden wall of water. Sailors tightened preventer stays, secured boats, lashed every bronze cannon to its oak carriage with hemp breeching ropes nearly 5 inches thick, and checked that every hatch remained dogged shut. If green water flooded below, the pumps worked without pause while carpenters inspected the futtocks, keelson, and deck beams for fresh cracks caused by violent flexing. Men who laughed at ghost stories crossed themselves during such moments because no one could explain why the compass sometimes wandered, why whales vanished from the surrounding sea, or why seabirds abandoned the area hours before disaster struck. By dawn, the strange calm often ended with towering breakers rolling across the Atlantic, each crest exploding against the tumblehome with enough force to shatter railings, rip away longboats, and tear heavy spars from their iron fittings. Survivors rarely agreed on what they had seen beneath the waves, yet every account ended the same way. They called the unseen terror the Leviathan, not because anyone proved it existed, but because no ordinary storm seemed capable of inspiring such overwhelming fear. As the legend spread from harbor to harbor, every crew added another detail until the Leviathan became larger than imagination itself. Some captains insisted they had seen an immense black ridge stretching across the sea before dawn, wider than any whale and long enough to vanish into the mist at both ends. Others claimed the water boiled as though hundreds of cannon had discharged beneath the surface, lifting entire vessels before dropping them into deep troughs that splintered deck beams and loosened iron fastenings hidden inside the hull. Even the strongest pirate ships suffered under such punishment. White oak planking nearly 4 inches thick bent with every impact while the massive futtocks transferred crushing stresses through the keel. Shipwrights understood that timber possessed remarkable elasticity, yet repeated flexing slowly opened seams despite carefully hammered oakum and layers of hardened pine tar. Pumps worked continuously as seawater forced its way through microscopic gaps, each stroke reminding exhausted sailors that survival depended upon outrunning flooding rather than defeating an invisible enemy. Veterans ordered every movable object secured because a barrel weighing more than 400 pounds or a bronze cannon approaching 2,000 pounds became a deadly weapon if its lashings failed during a violent roll. The helmsman fought to keep the bow angled into the approaching seas while officers shouted corrections lost beneath the roar of wind and breaking water. Lightning illuminated nothing except towering walls of foam, but frightened men still searched the darkness for enormous eyes or scales glistening beneath the waves. Whether they truly saw a creature or only fear reflected upon the sea mattered little, because by sunrise every sailor aboard believed they had escaped something far greater than an ordinary storm. The most experienced navigators eventually offered a different explanation, one far less comforting than a sea monster because it could not be defeated by courage or cannon. They believed the Leviathan was born whenever powerful Atlantic swells collided with opposing currents, hidden shoals, and violent pressure changes, producing rogue waves that rose without warning far above the surrounding sea. To sailors who had never studied oceanography, such walls of water seemed alive. A pirate sloop of 90 tons or even a massive flagship approaching 300 tons could suddenly find its bow lifted almost vertically before crashing into the trough below with enough force to split planks, twist deck beams, shear mast partners, and crack the knees supporting the upper decks. The impact drove iron spikes deeper into strained futtocks while corked seams flexed under tremendous pressure, allowing icy seawater to invade the hold despite months of careful careening and fresh oakum sealed beneath boiling pine tar. Cannon crews rushed not to fire, but to secure every bronze gun with doubled breaching ropes because a single carriage breaking free could smash through bulkheads and kill dozens before the sea claimed the ship itself. Yet no matter how many practical explanations emerged, sailors continued to whisper the old name whenever unnatural silence settled across the ocean. Calling the unseen danger, the Leviathan gave shape to their fear, reminding every captain that the greatest enemy of the pirate age was often neither the Royal Navy nor rival corsairs, but the immense and unpredictable power of the sea itself. Pirate captains eventually discovered that the wisest response to the Leviathan was not defiance but respect. The moment dark swells began moving against the prevailing wind, every experienced crew shortened sail, struck the topgallants, secured the boats, double-lashed every barrel, and checked the pumps before the first great sea arrived. The quartermaster inspected the standing rigging. The carpenter searched the bilges for fresh leaks, and the gun crews tightened the hemp, breeching ropes restraining bronze cannon weighing nearly a ton each. Even the strongest hull, built from seasoned white oak with massive futtocks and reinforced tumblehome, possessed limits that no craftsmanship could overcome forever. Ships vanished without distress signals, masts snapped like dry branches, anchors disappeared into depths beyond sounding lines, and entire crews were lost with no witness except the empty horizon. Whether the Leviathan was a monstrous creature born from ancient legend, or simply the terrifying face of the Atlantic itself, mattered little to those who sailed the pirate era. Every voyage reminded them that beneath the waves existed a force older than every empire, stronger than every fleet, and utterly indifferent to the ambitions of kings, pirates, or ordinary sailors alike. No captain ever captured the Leviathan, no cannon ever sank it, and no chart ever revealed where it truly waited. Yet its legend endured because countless sailors faced storms, rogue waves, and impossible seas that seemed beyond human understanding. Whether myth or misunderstood nature, the Leviathan became the ultimate symbol of the pirate era, a reminder that even the mightiest ships were never the true masters of the ocean.